Well, it was billed as the online sale that would stop the nation. But click frenzy was brought to a shuddering halt just minutes after opening last night as some 2 million bargain hunters logged on at the same time, causing the site to crash. The websites of Myer, Dick Smith, Harvey Norman and others also slowed to a crawl or shut down completely. Frustrated consumers have been taken to Twitter today to complain about the failed shopping frenzy. Well, to explain how Click Frenzy's debut turned into more of a click crash, I'm joined in the studio now by technology writer David Field. David, thanks very much for coming in.
Pleasure.
So why did Click Frenzy prove to be a bit of a fizzer?
Well, it was an issue of excessive marketing and not enough bandwidth on the part of the servers that provided the site. I was speaking to the guys earlier on today and they were expecting vastly less traffic than they actually received, and it seems like social networking got the better of them. And after some point, there were just too many people who were trying to access the site and it caved.
Okay, should those problems have been foreseen?
Well, they were to an extent. I've been told that they were doing adequate testing of loads and making sure that they could shunt the different requests onto multiple computers. It's called load balancing, and essentially it was not one computer that was responding to everyone's requests. It was a bank of 20, coupled with a whole stack of extra content delivery networks on the back end. So the guys were trying everything that they were capable of doing to make it work. It's just that it was inundated.
Okay, is it up and running again now? What's happening today?
It is up and running now. I've been told that they've moved from 20 computers up to in excess of 50 that are shunting the information around. And the other sites that were taken out in its wake, the Myers and David Jones and everyone else, were also a function of so many people wanting to get deals that they just started searching out these sites, and because there was no elastic cloud structure behind them, they couldn't scale with the demands.
So quite literally it was a victim of its own success.
To an extent, yes. There are certain extra things that you could have done, but the fundamental problem is that this is a potentially bad way to market online retailing. Having a single day's worth of sales and drumming up a lot of support about it puts far too much pressure on a single point of failure, and is just another way of retailers trying to do promotions instead of finding new ways of getting in touch with consumers.
But would it be wrong to be a bit too hard on the organisers of this, given that they managed to get such a powerful public response to something like this? They tried and failed in some regards, but at least it was something of a noble failure, I suppose you could say, when you're talking about online retailing.
It was a little bit of a... Well, it demonstrates that people are interested in online shopping, and at the very least people will go for bargains. Whether that's the correct way of doing it remains to be seen.
I noticed today sales for a traditional retailer like David Jones are pretty soft at the moment. We've been reporting today that its sales figures aren't that hot. Given that there was so much interest shown in the Click Frenzy concept, does that suggest that traditional retailers are really missing out on some very motivated shoppers out there? Oh,
they are, and they're not prepared for it either, and they don't seem to be doing a huge amount to try and prepare themselves. I mean, the fact that Click Frenzy fell over was separate to the fact that all these other sites of retailers hadn't prepared themselves for the scale of online shopping and demand.
So this episode does highlight that there's a lack of will or preparedness by traditional retailers to embrace the opportunities awaiting them with online retailing.
It does, yes, and to an extent it comes down to getting better technical people to architect the ways that you're going to deal with online shopping.
Okay, who will be more disappointed by this? The shoppers themselves have potentially missed out on bargains, I guess, or the retailers who got involved?
No, something tells me that the retailers will do everything they can to keep their customers happy. But the problem here is one of... it's people getting to grips with online shopping. People who probably hadn't done any online shopping beforehand and were using this as an excuse to test the waters probably been put off. So
as bold experiments go, maybe this turned off more people than it might have attracted?
It may have. I mean, it depends how many people were who already started online shopping and knew what the concepts were. But hey, you know, maybe they can learn from their failures, and we just have to hope that this isn't a problem for people who want to online shop in the future.
Okay, an interesting one to watch. Okay, David Field, thank you very much for coming in and talking to us about it.
No problem.